And the way she looked at him in bed,
yeah.
I mean,
when she woke up with that messy hair, I said,
it's a wrap. Yeah, no, I thought the date went smoothly. I thought everyone's saying like she's ignoring the red flags. I think people are trying to put red flags on him because he's the front runner, and everybody loves to hate a front runner. Everybody loves to find a problem with a front runner because they don't like the ending to be obvious. And I even think he might be getting a bad edit, because I feel like a lot of these red flags have come up all of a sudden. Like I think he's always been like seen as a cool, nice guy who's clearly into Michelle, and then all of a sudden we are questioning his feelings in the last 2 episodes. I think he's just getting a bad edit now. In my personal opinion.
In your personal objective opinion.
Objective opinion.
Okay, here's my thing. I also am in love with Nayte. I get it. I understand why Michelle is a smitten kitten. Like, he is so attractive. He has the piercings, the earrings, like the height, the tats. Like, I too would be, I mean, I assume she's gonna pick Nayte. That would also be my choice. For me, it'd probably be like Nayte versus Olu, but I'm not the Bachelorette. But like, I get it. But I also feel like, I don't know, like, I just felt like, I feel like he was saying a lot, but like not saying a lot. Like, to me, like, yes, I will say that he did say the things that were said, like the words came out of his mouth. I can agree with that fact. But I just think like the way he showed up to the conversation was very, although he might be like new to this, the timeline is available to him. You know what I mean? Like, this is the penultimate week. Like, there is an engagement next week. So yes, you might be new to talking about your feelings, but it's not a surprise. It's not like you are dating out in the real world and your girlfriend like has a secret timeline in her head and she's like, you need to propose to me by next month or we're breaking up. Like, signing up 10 weeks, either you propose or you don't. And so it's like, okay, based on this timeline, you should be able to say these things at this point in time, or maybe it's not the match. You know what I mean? And so I feel like, I thought.
Go ahead. No, keep going.
Yeah. So I feel like, and that's why I feel like I was disappointed, honestly, in how he showed up to the conversation, because like they pulled up and she's like, do you have anything to say to me? No. What are we gonna do? What are we supposed to do? Like, what are we supposed to talk about? You know, are we supposed to sit here and look at this food we're not gonna eat? Like, why is there nothing to discuss? Like, and we were talking earlier about how Joe's like laying everything on the line, and like we know more about Brandon and Nayte, so they don't have to lay everything on the line. And while I agree with that, I don't think that means the time just shouldn't be. I feel like every moment counts. And even if Michelle already knows like the big things about you, you could come with like little things that you want to use to develop your relationship. Like, hey, let's talk about what you do after work. Let's talk about what TV shows do you like to watch on a Saturday night, like just normal, regular things if you've already had those big conversations. Like, I just feel like it's not enough for me to you just don't have nothing to talk about. Like, I've known you for 10 weeks. There should be a lot to talk about.
I mean, yeah, and I will say, I think one of his bigger issues is that even from the beginning, he's always been very secure and confident in his relationship with her, which I get it, like he's getting everything back from her that he wants, and I think it is interesting because then it kind of puts into context what he was saying about Brandon's move in the end, but like, why put it all, like, why kind of like lay it out on the table, why like kind of start gushing about feelings if you are secure in the relationship? It's like, if you're not trying to prove something, if you're not trying to convince her to keep you, I feel like in his heart he feels like he doesn't have to convince her of anything, that they're good, and if she continues to feel good about it, she's going to choose him. And so it's just like, to him, it's just walking into a normal date. They're going to have dinner together and they're just going to spend some quality time together, but not like, okay, I'm here, I'm going to confess all of my feelings for you right here, right now. So I feel like that has always kind of pulled him back a little bit, as he has just felt very secure. And we saw that in the awkward um
Yeah.
time when they were all three in the room together.
Yeah.
He was emanating a lot of confidence and security in his relationship with her. And so you are right. He knows there's a timeline. He knows there's an expiration date. So he probably should have came to that conversation with more.
Yeah.
So I will agree with that. I will admit to that fault.
Okay, so we have one one red flag.
But I feel like that comes more from, like I said, a place of feeling just very secure and confident, and not feeling like he has to, like, again, like, convince her to keep him, rather than a place of, like, he doesn't know how he feels. Because honestly, like, would we rather he lie and say, like, I'm in love with you and I'm definitely going to, like, be ready for engagement, or would we rather him be honest and only say the stuff that he actually feels? Like, if he's not feeling like, if he's not in love with her, if he's not like already, like, picturing their entire, like, future together, should he be saying that stuff anyway? So if it's like, if he doesn't want to say that stuff, I'm I'm glad he's not lying to her. I'm glad he's only saying what he actually feels. Because at least we don't have to question the sincerity of what he's saying. Because
Yeah,
he's not
but
saying.
to me, it's like it's not a question of like honesty versus not, or like saying it versus not. Because I feel like I feel like for him it's more of like, it's not like, oh, am I gonna lie about my feelings versus not. He just like doesn't, there's no communication. Like there's nothing to lie about because he's not communicating. Like she was like, how are you feeling? And he talked for approximately 3 minutes about how he doesn't have the answers to the questions of life. And it's like, oh, but how did we get here though? I asked you, how do you feel about me? And you're over here talking about, well, you know, in conclusion, I just don't know what we're doing here on Earth. Like, okay. All right.
That was a rough start.
Exactly.
He was saying,
saying.
And like, we never know what life brings us, and the answers, we just keep finding them, and that's that. And I love how he stopped like that answered her question.
Yeah,
and there you go.
Exactly. So I don't feel like it's a question of like honesty versus not for Nayte. I feel like it's a question of like, are the answers available? Are you able? Is the communication available for you? Like, it almost felt like watching, because something that was very interesting to me that you said was like that she was gaining clarity and that she was asking him the questions a number of different ways to allow him to articulate it in the way that was sufficient for her. To me, that's entirely too much. All that right there, asking the same question 5 different ways, 5 different times, like that's just like, and then eventually you get the answer, because it's like, and Nayte, he's not done. Like he knows that he has to say these things in order to progress. And that's not me saying I think he's playing her or that he just wants to like win the game. Like I don't think he's disingenuous, but I also think that at a certain point it clicked and he was like, oh, okay, these are the answers that she wants. And this is what I need to provide in order to have a sufficient answer. Like it almost felt like a job interview when they're asking you impossible questions like, will you sacrifice for this company? Will you accept $8 an hour and 70 hours a week? Like just really impossible questions. And you want the job? So you're like, yes, that sounds amazing. That sounds wonderful. And that's not to me saying that I think Michelle is a crap job. Like I don't think she's offering something negative on the table and he's just agreeing to it. But I also think that it was like, oh, like this is what she wants to hear in order to reassure her. Like this is the reassurance she wants, you know? If you want more of where that came from, be sure to check out our full episode recap. It'll be linked in the description as well as pop up on this screen.